Hello everyone. Sai here. Thank you so much for joining me for our Kendra Card Challenge super sponsor video hop. And today we're going to be focusing on the company Trinity Stamps. Trinity Stamps has provided some products to play with, and I'm going to be working with the You're the Greatest die set, and you can see in the picture right there. So we'll start off with showing you the die, and then I'm going to go ahead and just create the grate and the cheese, which I'm going to use in my card. So I've already cut all my pieces out in the different colors that I want, and I'm just going to show you how I put it together. Everything fits very closely. As you can see when you put the metal down, that it goes pretty much edge to edge, and you're going to do that with both the left and the right hand side, and then it creates this 3D object, which is your cheese grater. Then what you want to do is take this little black piece, and that's going to be the trim, the kind of the rubber stopper that goes on the bottom of the cheese grater. The next piece is, and I actually didn't use this because I needed the space for my card, and this is where you have the handles on the top. So I'm just going to show you how I did it, but I realized after I have created this that there's actually a better way of doing it. You should actually start creating it on the grate and not separated, because you actually need to align them on an angle so that they actually look like they're part of the grate. So you'll see it's very simple to put it all together. You just have to use some tweezers and stuff, but you'll see when I put it on there, you can tell it's the wrong angle. Luckily my glue is a little bit not dried yet, and then I'm just kind of maneuvering it so that those black handles are angled exactly right. But I'm not going to use it for mine. Like I said, I'm going to be taking it off for this card, but that's how you put it together. And then the cheese is very simple. It lays exactly over top. And then what I did was I just used a dark yellow in the background and then some lighter yellow for the top. And you could ink blend these to create more dimension, but I decided to keep it nice and simple. But like I said, it fits perfectly on top of there and creates this 3D wedge of cheese. So the card that I'm going to be creating today is for sketch number 12, and there it is right in the top corner there. And I'm going to be playing with some scrap paper that I had in my stash that I just want to use. So it's this birthday surprise type pattern paper. I don't have 6 sheets, so this is a perfect time to just grab them out and create some simple cards. And I mentioned that in the previous video, that if you don't actually have all 6 to make the 15 cards, then you don't need to worry about it. So you can use what you have and just work with the sketches. And so mine's going to be nice and simple. I am going to turn it 90 degrees, so it's going to be a landscape instead of a portrait. And that's because I'm going to be adding my sentiment, and I want it to go across the whole panel. And it's going to be a very simple card. And while I'm creating it, let me just talk about Kendra Card Challenge. If you're not familiar with Kendra Card Challenge, it is like a 6-sheet wonder where you take 6 pieces of pattern paper, you follow the instructions of the cutting guide, which are provided for free on Kendra Card Challenge's website. And all the information will be in the description box below. And when you're done, you will have 15 cards using up all the pattern paper, and all you need to do is just include your stamp sets, your embellishments, your ephemera, your dots, whatever you want to do to create and decorate your cards. Once this is done, you can submit your cards to the Facebook group, and for every submission, which you can do 3 times a quarter, and there are many prizes to be won throughout the quarter. For this video hop, there is also a prize, and if you fill out the form, which is in the description box below, by February 2nd of 2024, you can have a chance of winning a digital download from Cards by Kendra, which will be announced on her YouTube channel. Okay, so while I was chit-chatting away, I was trying to put my sentiment on, and I thought that the T-ruler would kind of help, but it kind of still is a little crooked, but if you don't look too hard, it's perfectly fine. And it's just the sentiment that's part of the die set. And what I had done off camera was I cut that 3 times, one in the same silver as the cheese grater, and then 2 more times in white, and I just glued them all together to kind of make it almost like chipboard. And then that's what I use to glue them down to give them a little bit of height and stability. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of cardstock behind the cheese grate. Because I'm going to put the cheese grate over top of the cheese, which is 2 layers, I just felt that was a little bit too much, and I wanted to give it some levelness by adding this extra piece of cardstock. I could have added 2 just because it is going to be that much higher, but it's not that noticeable, so I was okay. If you were using something that was more of a flimsy cardstock, then I would probably try to match the number of layers just so that you don't see any bending or sagging. Then to finish off the sentiment, I just took this For You, which was from my stash, and I heat set that on some black cardstock, and I just added it right underneath the sentiment. I'm really liking that little technique of just adding the little black sentiment to complement the main part of the sentiment. I then added some of my foam tape, which is from Uline. It's 1/32 of an inch thick, just to give it a little bit of depth as it pops off the card right in the center. I'm not worried about adding any pattern paper in the background. You could do that, but I wanted the nice, simple, clean look like that. So there we go. There's my Grateful for You card. You could have added the handles like I showed you at the beginning of the video to this, but as you can see, I didn't want to mess around with adding different layers. I wanted it nice and flat, so I didn't add it to my card, but you can definitely add it. It does add a nice finished touch to the cheese grater. I do hope you enjoyed this, and I do hope that you check out the rest of the design who are creating with the Trinity Stamps products and see what they have created as well. So until the next time, have a wonderful, beautiful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.